Hi, and welcome to Forest Therapy for today. I am streaming from inside today. Just a nice reminder that you can do this practice inside. You don't have to be outside. Today the weather is not cooperating, so we're inside today. And I'll just give a quick rundown of what our Forest Therapy practice today is going to entail, and then we'll get started. For today's Forest Therapy practice, I'd like to incorporate using infant with your practice. So this is for parents out there. One of the best things we can do as parents is to be calm ourselves when it comes to being with a child, or you don't have to be a parent, but one of the best things we can do around being a child is being calm ourselves, or feeling creative ourselves, or feeling expansive ourselves. Just like you can kind of read a room when you walk into it, children can feel that too. Forest therapy is a series of somatic exercises based off of Japanese forest bathing that help us tap into ourselves, and also to contextualize ourselves with the landscape around us, to know that we belong and that we matter where we are and where we're living, and that we're as much a part of nature as a tree or a bush or a squirrel or anything else. And children are really good at somatic comforting, somatic soothing themselves. Infants like being rocked, they like being on your body, they like touching you, they like, swaying. All of these are kind of ways that we know to comfort ourselves instinctually. And forest therapy is kind of a way to reintroduce some of those ways to ground back into our body and just feel calm and at ease. So my instructions today will include doing this practice with an infant, but you don't have to have an infant. You'll still be able to do the practices, and I'll try to include alternatives when I think of it. Okay. So if you're in a safe place, or actually I have to explain what we're doing. Okay, so we'll start with a grounding practice, and that'll just kind of bring us back into our bodies. If we have an infant or a child with us, it will help us, help the child kind of see how we as adults can tune into our bodies and calm ourselves. Their regulatory systems are a little different, so we don't expect everything to match up perfectly. And then what we'll do after that is we'll have a series of invitations where you're invited to interact with the space around you. I've got this nice plant next to me because I'm inside today. If you're outside, you've got that whole expansive nature. I've also got some nice smelling sage and a small rock. There it is. So these all kind of remind me of nature and make me feel like I'm in nature a little bit, and so I'm going to be using those in my practice today. After our invitations, we'll have a closing ceremony. It's called a tea ceremony, and I don't have any tea today, but I'll probably go make a cup after this. If you want to pause the video and go make yourself a cup of tea to have at the end of this practice, you're welcome to do that. If you just want to wait till it's over and then make yourself some tea, that's also okay. Whatever works for you. And at the end of each of our invitations, we will have a sharing session. At the end of actually all of them, we'll have a sharing session. So we'll have some time to share either in the chat or out loud, just to yourself in your room or in your space where you're at today. Kind of what you noticed about that practice and what it may have brought up for you. So we're going to start our grounding practice now. If it's safe for you to do so, please close your eyes. And we're going to start inhaling and exhaling slowly. First, just ourselves. So inhale, exhale, And we like to make our exhales a little bit longer than our inhales. So if our inhale is 1, 2, 3, our exhale is 1, 2, 3, 4. Our inhale, 1, 2, 3. And our exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're doing this practice with the infant, I assume that you're holding them or they're close by your body. It's very comforting them to hear your heartbeat if you can position them on your chest. If not, then you know, the infant is the boss, and as long as the boss is happy, we're doing good. So, what I'd like you to do is just rest your hand maybe on their stomach or their chest. If you don't have an infant, you can go ahead and rest a hand on your own chest. And as we inhale, we want to lightly lift our hand off of the baby, and as you exhale, lightly press it back down. So we're sending a signal to the baby that this is how we, as adults, calm down. So inhale, we lift our hand. Exhale, our hand gently rests back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, our hand is back down. I'd like you to take that with your own count for a few breaths. Feel free to add some sound. Babies have a great sense of hearing after about 4 weeks. And we'll take that for a few more breaths. Now we're going to start moving our breath around our body. So on our inhale, let's move it into our upper arm. If you have a baby, feel free to touch their upper arm. Let's move to the lower arm. To a hand, maybe grabbing their little hand gently. Let's move our breath into our torso. Into our upper leg. Lower leg. Into the feet. Into the feet again. To our lower legs, our upper leg, our torso, into our hands, our lower arm, our upper arm, maybe into our neck, gently touching the baby's neck as we breathe, and then up into our head, maybe stroking the baby's head as we inhale and exhale. Very good. Now let's bring our breath into our third eye. And if we have a baby, we can gently rub their third eye with our thumb. maybe we can go and rub our own third eye a little bit. Now, let's do our best to think of all of those places that we just brought air into and bring air into our whole body. And exhale. Inhale into your whole body. Exhale. Maybe you want to ascribe a color to the inhale. And when we exhale, we see a color leaving our body. Maybe we're inhaling white or a soft yellow. Maybe we're exhaling brown, or maybe a dark green. Whatever color feels good for you. Now we can listen to the sounds around us. What sounds are in the space around us? Are there any nearby or far? How does our breath, the sounds we're making, maybe the sounds our baby is making, how does that change the landscape of sound around us? Take that for a few breaths. Now let's bring our attention to our eyes. If our eyes are closed, we're looking at the back of our eyelids. Maybe we can visualize the space around us before, in a few moments, we open our eyes, but not yet. So what does the room look like around us? What is near to us? What is far away? What's our baby doing? And maybe their eyes are open too, or maybe their eyes are closed as well. And now let's move our fingers and our toes. Come back into the room where we are. If you have a baby, you can rub their fingers, you can rub their toes. As we come back into the room and gently open our eyes. Great. So that was our grounding practice to start our forest therapy practice today. Let's take some time now to share, either in the chat or out loud, what you're noticing, what came up for you, what feelings are there, whatever you'd like to share. I'll let you go first. Okay. What I'm noticing is, it's a little later than I thought. Okay, what I'm noticing is just a sense of presence today, just a sense of feeling aware and feeling present with the grounding. I didn't feel like I went, too deep or anything, but there's just kind of a general nice awareness of being in my body. So that's what I'm noticing today. Alright, we're going to begin our first invitation. And our first invitation is going to be around touch. So I have this rock here, and I've got this kind of sage. So I have a couple pieces that I'm going to be touching, I guess you could say, and I hope you maybe have something near you that you might want to interact with that is nature. Maybe it's a plant like this one, or maybe you're outside and you've got some other things near you. So I'd like us to take the next about 7 minutes, and we will be just experimenting with touch. So how many different sensations can we get from one object, basically? So here's one sensation, pressure. I could squeeze it really hard, or I could tap it. That's a different sensation. I could just run it along my hands, and that's also a different sensation. So for 7 minutes, I'd like you to just take the time to see what you can do and what comes up. And yeah, I'll be back in about 7 minutes. Thanks. And I forgot the other part, which is if you have a baby, you want to explore how many sensations we can have with an object. Obviously being extremely gentle if you're working with a child. So you can run it over their cheek. Maybe rest it on their leg. Come on, buddy. Just exploring what sensation looks like for your baby. Okay, that's about 7 minutes. I'll go first this time. So for this I just used this rock that I had, and I just kind of gently moved it, or gently tapped it, or little circles. And when I was doing that, I noticed that this rock has a temperature, and that it started out very cold or cool, but then as we interacted with it more, it became warmer, which I hadn't really thought about. I hadn't really thought of that as part of the sensation. So I thought that was interesting. Alright, you can go next, either out loud to yourself or in the chat what you're noticing. Okay, great. For the next invitation, I would like to work with sound because babies have a very good sense of hearing. Their vision is not great. They can't really see more than 6 inches to 12 inches in front of their face. But sound is very good for them. So I'd like us to just see how many sounds we can make with the nature that's around us. And if we can make an interactive sound, that is good too. You can also just say sounds, or if you want to just observe sounds around you in nature, that's also wonderful. And we'll just do a short invitation for this one. We'll just do about 3 to 4 minutes for this. So if you have a baby, I would encourage you to see what sounds you can make around you, see if they notice them, maybe try making some sounds yourself and see if there's a difference in what they notice or what they're observing. And I will check in with you again in about 4 minutes. back in. I'm gonna go first. The thing that I noticed was that I could use this rock that I used for the previous invitation. I can make sounds with it. And I made some sounds, and my baby is just not noticing any sounds at all. And so all sounds kind of seem to be the same to them, but at the same time I know that babies are, big sponges, so they are taking in the sounds, even if we can't see their reactions to them. Maybe they're able to say, this is a safe sound and I can sleep through it. And that's the sounds that we want to bring into their lives right now. So, I'll let you go if you want to share what you're noticing about that exercise, either in the chat or just out loud to yourself in the space you're in. Okay, so that was the end of our invitations. The next part is our closing tea ceremony. So I'd like you to think about something you want to take, something you want to leave from this practice, because we are a part of our environments. We're a part of the landscapes that we live in, and we belong in them, and we have impact. And no matter how hard we try not to, we will have an impact on the space, so let's be conscious of it. I would like to take that we had like 4 people watching this at once, which was cool, and that makes me hopeful for some people I could share this with that have babies, and hopefully can inspire them to have a somatic practice with their children. So that's what I'll take, is that joy and inspiration. I don't really want to leave anything, and I'll let you go next on something you'd like to take and something you'd like to leave. Okay, and let's just close out our practice. If there's anything you want to share that would make this practice feel more complete, I will let you do that now. Okay, I don't have anything that I want to say to make this practice feel more complete. It feels pretty okay for me today, so I'm just going to leave it there. Now I'd encourage you to go and drink something warm, maybe a tea or a coffee. Just take a few minutes to soothe and warm yourself before you go back to your busy day. And thanks so much for joining me on this forest therapy practice. I will see you in the next one.